7 o'clock. We'll begin the meeting of the Mill Creek Township Supervisors Board of March the 22nd. We'll begin with a pledge to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, public comment on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Do we have any comments from the public? Being none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our prior meeting. Any additions or corrections? If none, do I hear a motion?
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. Excuse me a second here. Okay, item number 5 is approval of the bills. Any questions about the bills? Any additions, corrections? None? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the
I'll
bills?
move we pay the bills.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I also vote yes. And let's see here. Item number 6, presentation of emergency management certification. Mr. Exley, do you have a few words you'd like to say?
Gentlemen, Pennsylvania Title 35 declares what we need to do for emergency management certification. And really that's down to the emergency management coordinator itself. So mainly it describes out what, in my position, that I need to do for certification. In Mill Creek Township, we've decided to take that a little bit of a step further and ask our volunteer employee or our volunteers, emergency management coordinators, to do that certification as well. So there are 3 levels: basic, advanced, and professional. Most local emergency management coordinators never make it past the basic side of it. There's quite a bit of training required for it. And again, it's totally voluntary. Tonight, one of our deputy coordinators, who's a volunteer, was able to attain his advanced status, and it receives his advanced certification from the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency.
Okay.
So we'd like to recognize him.
Okay. Well, Rich, you want to come up? This is, if you want to turn and face the cameras too, this is Rich Petron. He is the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator working with Matt Exley here. So I'm going to present this certification to you. I know you're a firefighter too with your Sarge, right? Westridge, I'm sorry. And so you look at the volunteer time, this is a young man. Of course, I see his wife and child there too. So as you know, it's a lot of dedication. I appreciate it on behalf of all the Mill Creek Township residents and of course the Board of Supervisors. So we're going to present you with a certification on behalf of everybody here. Get in there. So congratulations there. Keep on going.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Item number 7, referral to the Planning Commission of a petition requesting a change in zoning classification for Norcross Land Management LLP for property located at 1700 block on the north side of Norcross Road, now zoned R2 low density residential and RR rural residential, asking for a change in classification to C1 local commercial district. Also for properties, the 1600 and 1700 block on the south side of East Grandview Boulevard, now zoned R1 single-family residential and RR residential, asking for a change to C1 also. The total acreage of the proposed rezoning is 29.9933 acres. Of course, I give the township index numbers on that. Just for clarification for those in the audience and those viewing this, and also for the media, this is just a referral to the Planning Commission. It is not a rezoning that's happening tonight. This is being referred to the Planning Commission. The application process is it goes to the zoning office. They in turn refer it to us. We in turn refer it to the Planning Commission for their research and recommendation back to us. And then the Board of Supervisors does make the final decision on that. And that'll be about a month and a half or 2 before that happens. So I just wanted that to be known for the record there. So.
When will the hearing be, Chuck?
That would be May or
April?
April 5th.
April
That's the-
5th,
yeah, that's
okay,
the
so
first
that,
Monday, the first Tuesday in April.
Okay,
okay, so that's when the planning commission will
That's
hear
when the
that.
planning commission will hear
And then a month later,
And a month
the
later,
board
the
will get it.
supervisor.
So whatever the meeting is in May, we will have that
That's
back.
correct.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I need a motion to refer that to the planning commission.
so moved.
Do I hear a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes?
Mr. Morgan? how do
I
you
vote, I vote yes. And Mr. Chair, I just want to add,
Yeah,
you know, we do encourage developers and residents who are coming in for developments and rezonings to meet with our staff to discuss these items ahead of time, just so folks are very familiar with our existing ordinances, our existing plans. This instance in particular was a little bit unexpected from our staff. So what I did, I asked our engineering and zoning team to look at our development process and our rezoning process, to see how we might be able to tighten that up to have a little more stronger encouragement for folks to come in and meet with our staff and get familiar with our plans and ordinance before we get to this point. Do a little bit of upfront homework for folks before the planning commission reviews it. So I just want to let you know,
Fewer surprises?
that's kind of the plan,
Yeah.
yeah.
fewer surprises would be nice.
That's a good thing.
Okay,
So hopefully they'll have something for us to review in the next few weeks.
okay, did I have a vote on that there, Cheryl?
No.
Okay,
You have a motion and
I
a
have a
second.
motion and a second. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, we'll refer that to the planning commission for their next meeting. Item number 8, ordinance 2016-3. An ordinance to amend the following sections of the zoning ordinance: 2.04, 3.1, 3.10.1, 3.10.3, 3.10.4, 3.10.5, 3.18.1, 4.07.2, and 5.06. As amended of the zoning ordinance 2011-8. To add 6 defined terms, amend regulations pertaining to the buffer yards, landscaping and screening, and off-street parking, amend uses to the C2 General Commercial District, and amend regulations over the Lakefront Area District and repealer and severability clauses. Did I get all that in there?
I think so.
God, okay. Okay. Do we have any discussion among the board here regarding this? Anything that we'd like to highlight, comment?
Before I would like to make a motion to approve it,
Okay.
but before we do, on page 5 of what we have for the ordinance, at the very bottom, that would be, let's see if I can,
5
yeah.
It's 10
Three-
point,
Yeah, it's under section
3.10.5.
3.10.5, 5 III.
You have that, Cheryl?
Very bottom.
Okay.
The sentence is irregularly shaped areas of pervious surface are not permitted. After having some additional discussion with our engineering department, I would suggest that we just simply remove that sentence. The developers and our engineering department concur that it makes it more difficult to build or to construct an island, and this is in regard to islands and parking areas, to construct islands and parking areas that would have the need for a radius in particular for driveways and such that are entering into a parking area. There may be an island that comes into play in that area, but the ordinance, the way it was written, would not permit a radius in that island. Removal of that sentence would permit that. It doesn't change the requirement for the size of the island. It would still have to be the same number of square feet. It just allows for an irregularly shaped island, making traffic flows it makes it more conducive for traffic flows within the parking area.
Okay. Okay, John, any comments yourself?
I agree with Brad.
Okay. Brian, I think you said you made the motion.
I will make a motion
Do I hear a second
to
on that?
approve, yes.
Do I hear a second, John?
I will second the amendment.
Okay. Okay, we want to call for any other discussion from the public on that?
Sure, why not?
We could.
That's up to you.
Okay. We have any comments from the public regarding this ordinance? I know we have some people out in the audience. Anybody who wish to make a comment or two about this? Being none, we'll note that no comment from the public. Okay, call for a vote. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes to the amendment.
Okay, and I do too.
Now, did we just vote on the amendment or the amended?
The amendment.
The amendment,
Okay. All right.
yes. Okay,
Now you want to vote on the ordinance itself with the amendment? Is
Yes.
that the way we should do that?
yes,
Okay. Then
okay.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance 2016-3 with the earlier amendment.
Okay.
I will
Do I hear a
second.
second? Okay. Trying to make these notes here. Okay. Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. That has passed. Item number 9, ordinance 2016-4, an ordinance to amend Mill Creek Township zoning ordinance 2011-18, as amended by changing the classification of a certain parcel of land situated in Mill Creek Township, Erie County, as follows. Property at 6038 Peach Street, now zoned R1 Single Family District, to be rezoned C2 General Commercial District. And we took the action at our prior meeting. This is just the formalization of the ordinance. Do I hear a motion to approve that ordinance?
So moved.
Do I
I'll
hear a
second.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. Item number 10, announcements of bids and quotations received. Brian?
This is from Bill Hitchcock in the garage. He has sent to us a memo regarding the purchase of a pickup truck for the sewer department and a dump truck for the sewer department and a dump truck for the streets department. Well, I guess we can do these one at a time. The first is for a 2016 GMC Sierra 1500 four-wheel drive pickup. This would be from Jeff Penske Buick GMC. It's on the CoStar's bid, contract number 025-009. The purchase price would be $26,185, and this is included in the sewer budget for 2016, and I would move approval of that purchase.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
Mr. McGrath, what are we doing with the previous 2007 F-250?
Likely that will go to the auction, unless there's some other use for it internally. We could check with Bill and see, but typically used vehicles with that old, this is a, 9-year-old pickup truck, chances are that would go to the municipal auction.
I only asked when previously the traffic department had requested a new vehicle.
A new vehicle, or
Well, an update, from what I hear, this would be
We
an
can-
upgrade for their current
we can check with
pickup truck.
Mr. Hitchcock tomorrow, and
See if that works.
that would be available,
That'd be great. Well, I'll second the motion.
okay?
Okay. Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
And I'll do these next two as a group, even though they're two different departments, it's the same vehicle and equipped identically. The next would be for two 2016 Ford F-550 four-wheel drive cabin chassis. The CoStar's contract number is 025-125, and the price for the cabin chassis is $42,869. The accompanying equipment, which would include the dump body and hydraulic systems and snowplow and tailgate spreader, that would be coming from Walsh Equipment. The CoStar's contract number is 025-021, and the price for that equipment is $32,584 each. Combined price is $75,453 each. And I would move approval of those two purchases.
Okay, do I hear a second on those purchases?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. I think that's all from the purchasing. Item number 11, Golden Capital Management Agreement. Mark?
This is a investment manager to replace two managers that were discontinued last year, Philadelphia Trust and I believe it was Liberty Capital. Our advisor had put out an RFP for this. We got in excess of 25 responses and narrowed down to 3, and this was the recommended choice for to replace the former advisors.
Okay. Okay, and this was well vetted and
Yeah,
researched?
Evan did.
Evan did the, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then, any questions from the board? Being none, I'll call for a motion to approve that agreement.
I'll move to approve the agreement.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. McGrath? Oh, sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
Quick,
And I
quick,
vote
quick,
yes,
quick.
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, item number 12, West 26th Street Culvert Replacement, change order number 1. Mr. Morris.
Change order number 1 is from McClellan Construction for furnishing and installing additional 2 by 6 foot concrete blocks, geotextile, and graded R5 riprap for additional wing wall and head wall protection on the West 26th Street Culvert Replacement Project. The fresh backfill that surrounds the culvert entrance was in jeopardy during high flows prior to the additional protection. The amount of change order number 1 is $6,520. The original contract price for the project was $123,836. So the adjusted contract price is now $130,356. The change order will be funded from the Public Improvements Account budget for 2016. And I recommend approval of change order number 1.
Okay. Okay, any questions from the board on that?
Rick, did this have something to do with the recent storm or the snow melting storm?
Yes, it did. We had extreme high waters, and because of the new construction, there was a lot of material that surrounded that was not compacted as it was before we removed it all. So we had to place some additional protection there.
Okay, okay.
Mr. Morris, I apologize for not asking this earlier. The West 26th Street culvert, this isn't actually on West 26th Street, is it?
No, it isn't. It's just east of Gerlach's in Love Road on
Okay.
the south side of 26th Street.
Is it actually in a public right-of-way? Does it carry traffic?
No, it isn't. No, it is not.
Okay,
It's an easement though, correct?
Correct.
it is an easement to maintain.
Well, I only ask because I know there's, the county has recently eased up some bridge funding, so certain size culverts are actually eligible for county aid now, so.
Okay,
Keep that in mind.
yes. Try to get somebody else to pay for it, that'd
Yeah.
be great, you know? So, okay, do I hear a motion to approve that?
So moved.
I will second.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, item number 13, a road use agreement, April 6th, or April through June 6th of June 2016, so Select Enterprise. Mr. Morris, do you have any
Right.
words on that?
This is a road use agreement for Millfair Road between the Walnut Creek Bridge and 38th Street, which is a common road between Fairview and Mill Creek Township that Mill Creek Township has the responsibility to maintain. Select Enterprises plans on removing approximately 150 truckloads of lumber. So they're going to be timbering and they need to use our road. We make sure that we're protected with an agreement and we'll also videotape it. So they are responsible for any damages that result, and they've given us a certificate of liability insurance. So we recommend approval of the agreement.
Okay. Okay, any questions from the board? This is, I think, typical that what we do, road's a road bond, you know, to speak
It's a
up.
logging operation, right?
Yes, in Fairview.
Right.
But they're using Millfair Road, our portion of it, so. Okay, I call for a motion on that.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, give me just a second here. Item number 14, Stormwater Maintenance Agreement for the Grace Slavic Pentecostal Church. Once again,
This is a project that has been delayed. They needed an easement to convey the flows northward. They actually have two separate stormwater detention ponds because their parking lot on the north side goes north and their building addition on the south side goes south. So they've acquired the easements and they've completed the stormwater management maintenance agreement. The church will be responsible for the ownership and the maintenance of the facilities, and we recommend approval on the township approved form.
Okay. Okay, any questions among the board here? Anybody? Okay, call for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Communications, we'll start with Mark. What do you have? Anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm asking for permission to, certain members to attend the PSATS conference in Hershey on April 17th through the 20th. In addition, that would be yourself, Mr. Chairman, as our voting representative at PSATS, as well as Brian and John as township and administrators, myself as treasurer, and Mr. Morris as engineer.
Right.
Additionally, Mr. McGrath would need to, as a member of the executive board of PSATS, has a board meeting on Saturday the 16th and would need to travel the 15th and 16th.
Right.
Mr. Morris also requests the use of township vehicle.
Right, okay. Yeah, this is what we've typically done every year to attend the PSATS convention. And for those who don't know, as Mark just mentioned, Brian is on the executive board for PSATS, so that gives us some recognition at the state level. And you're with the treasurer.
We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see. We sometimes eat last, you know, it seems like, but anyway, so yeah, that's great. So we need that in the form of a motion. Do I hear a motion to approve that attendance at that meeting, along with the associated costs?
I'll move approval.
Okay, do I hear a second on that?
We did approve the costs,
Yeah.
the costs previously,
Yeah.
at a previous meeting to actually
Right.
make reservations and all that. did we
Right,
not?
yes, we did.
Did we do anything on this before? Well, it's part of the budget, I
It's
suppose.
part of the budget, but I don't believe we ever had a motion for any portion of it.
Okay,
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, I'd amend the motion to extend, I guess, the permission to attend for the travel, but maybe at our next meeting, we'll get the costs ironed out and approve the costs at the next meeting.
okay.
Oh, precisely, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay then, Brian, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And that is for the attendance at the meeting. The costs are not in that action.
I know I'm
right
a
there.
stickler. We want to hold us to the same standard as the staff.
Okay. Let's see here. Anything else there, Mark? Nothing? You're all done?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, Brian.
I have a few things. First, from Ashley Marsteller, our Parks and Rec Director, she would like to add Mary Desmond as a volunteer for Qigong and Tai Chi. And again, as I stated, that would be a volunteer position. I'll move approval.
Okay, do I hear a second on
Mary.
that?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
Next, from Jessica James, our recycling coordinator. A few things. First, due to the nicer weather this year and the need, several residents have expressed a desire to be able to utilize the Millfair Compost and Recycling Center. So the center will be opening early this year. It'll be open beginning March 25th and closing on Sunday, December 11th, 2016. Previously, it wasn't going to open until April 1st. The hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. There are products that are free to the public, including wood chips, fill dirt, and wood pallets while the supplies last. Other products for sale include mulch, compost, topsoil, and logs. The pricing is available on our website. Next, Jessica is requesting permission to purchase on a CoStarz contract number 009-042, 6x9 postcards This would be through Printing Concepts, and this is to announce the first special event of 2016, which I would imagine is going to be the spring cleanup. And I'll move approval of that purchase.
Okay, do I hear a second on that? That's for the purchase only. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, do I hear a second on that, on the purchase?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
And a couple other announcements from Jessica. The first is WQLN Education and Blasco Library and the Mill Creek Township Recycling Department invite families to Earth Day Rocks. This is a free cyber chase event at the Blasco Memorial Library on Saturday, April 9th from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. The activities will include the Trash Dash game hosted by Mill Creek Township Recycling Center, the Earth Day Crafts, meet and greet with PBS Kids character Digit from Cyber Chase, story time, and more. So that will be again at the Blasco Library on April 9th. The next event is a Lincoln Recycling Coloring Contest. This is an annual event. Mill Creek Township has partnered with Lincoln Recycling again to administer an Earth Day related coloring contest in order to promote the benefits of recycling. The contest between Mill Creek Township School District's elementary schools will allow the public to vote for their favorite submission online at Lincoln Recycling's Facebook page starting April 15th. At the end of the contest, winning classrooms will be awarded with a pizza party and monetary prizes for the school's PTA. Art submissions are due by April 11th, and the final winner will be announced on April 22nd. Informational flyers will be passed out in school as well as posted to the township's website and Facebook page for additional details on the contest.
Okay.
So thank you to Lincoln Recycling and Jessica and Judy Zelina for that information.
Yes, they do quite a bit over there in the
Yes.
recycling department. Okay, that's it, Brian?
I
Or you
just
have-
do have one more quick thing that
Okay.
wasn't on the agenda,
Okay,
but according to Ashley Marsteller, we've already had some incidents at our parks regarding, well, I shouldn't say some incidents. We've had one incident. Last year, we had another incident regarding parking or camping at our parks.
oh, yeah.
People setting up camp, spending the night or more, and Ashley would like permission to post the parks. I think that one of them is now posted for no camping. Our solicitor suggested language to the effect that we amend our existing regulations for township parks so as to prohibit camping and any sort of overnight, transient, or other use of parks for occupancy or residence. When Evan returns, we will have to address that with the proper ordinance, but Ashley would like permission to post all of our parks now. I think it's a great idea, particularly since one transient was found to have set up home at one of our parks, and it's simply not a good idea for safety reasons, and we don't want people to get the idea that we are encouraging that type of activity. So I would move that we give permission to Ashley to go ahead and post the remaining parks for no camping.
Okay, do I hear a second on that motion there?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr.
You may want to ask for.
Oh, yes, do we have
Because
any
that one
public
wasn't on
comment?
the
I'm sorry,
agenda.
that wasn't on the agenda. Any public comment regarding a posting? Okay, being none, Mr. McGrath, how do you
Yes.
vote? Okay, Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. I've got several of them, so I'll try not to bore you to death with them. First one comes from the HR department, and it deals with a promotion in the dispatch center over here at the police department for Cheryl Comstock for promotion to communications supervisor, and this was effective March 21st at the rate of $25.58 per hour. And just for a little background regarding Cheryl, Cheryl came to Mill Creek Township in 2009 as a part-time dispatcher. She was a full-time dispatcher for the City of Erie Police Department prior to coming to Mill Creek. She started working for us full-time in 2010 as a police clerk, and then moved to dispatch in 2012 when a full-time opportunity came available. She's very qualified for this position, so I will make a motion to promote her to the position of communications supervisor.
I'll second that.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, that's one. The next memo comes from, let's see here, comes from Matt Exley, our fire code official. He respectfully requests the following approvals to hold following classes within the Millfair Road project. This has to do with the buildings that are going to be taken over for the rebuild of Millfair Road, namely over at the end of Woodside Drive where it connects onto it. There's classes that they'd like to hold there for the police department, and actually this is for the fire department here. Let's see here, forcible entry, rapid intervention team course, firefighter survival course, structural burn session, and advanced structural burn session. All courses will be instructed by the Pennsylvania State Fire Academy instructor in conjunction with the Butler County Community College Preferred Training Program. The total cost of the program will not exceed $800, and any future training held here will be through BC or BC3, which will be free. This is a budgeted expense for this year. The dates are being determined as of now. They're still kind of up in the air on it. Classes will be open to all Mill Creek firefighters. So I make that in the form of a motion to approve that purchase and allow the use of those buildings to be used for that specific purpose.
I'll second it.
Okay. Let's see. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Item number 2 is permission to attend the PSAT's TEMA Spring Forum at the Hershey Lodge on Sunday, April the 17th. The cost for the course is $95. He will need to use a township vehicle. His lodging will be free since he'll be staying with relatives in that area there. So I'll make a motion to approve that attendance for that class.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, in conjunction with those structures I was talking about over on Millfair Road and Woodside Drive, we have an indemnification agreement that needs to be signed by the Board of Supervisors for the use of structures and premises for temporary training exercises. This is just, it's a hold harmless agreement. This is a typical one that Evan did review this. Is that correct there, Matt? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we have 3 structures over there as indicated. You have on your map there.
This is a state form, is that the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're just, it's a hold harmless agreement that the firefighters will be tearing this down. They'll be doing some damage to it first before they burn it down. So I'll make that in the form of a motion to approve that indemnification agreement.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay, and I vote yes too. Okay, and let's see here. I told you it'd be quite a few of them.
You're a busy guy.
But, yeah, too much. Okay, this is from Police Director Mike Tesor. Sir, I respectfully request the Board of Supervisors to approve the following at public meeting today. Item number 1, permission for Sergeant Leslie Mitchell to attend a class entitled Internal Affairs Investigation at the Hubbard Police Department in Hubbard, Ohio, on March 28th and 29th. This class will be conducted by Law Enforcement Seminars of Garland, Texas, and is necessary training for the responsibilities held by Sergeant Mitchell at the MPD. Tuition, hotel accommodations, and meal costs are estimated at $525. Additionally, travel time by the township vehicle will require about 3 hours of overtime rate compensation. I'll make that in the form of a motion to approve that attendance at that class. I hear a second on that.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Item number 2, permission for Patrolman Kyle Caldwell to attend the class entitled Firearms Instructor at the PA State Police Northwest Training Center in Meadville from May 16th through May the 20th. As a newly appointed firearms instructor, this training will provide Patrolman Caldwell with the knowledge and certification required to perform his duties as the firearms instructor for his shift. There are no costs associated with this class, and no overtime compensation will be required. The only thing will be use of a township vehicle to travel back and forth. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Give me a second to catch up here. Okay. And finally, item number 3 from the police department. Permission to purchase 5 portable Motorola HT-1250 radios and microphones from Sunny Communications of Lakewood, Colorado, at a total cost of $1,500. These are refurbished radios, which with the hiring of new officers over the past years, will restock our replacement inventory in the event of breakage. If we had purchased 5 new radios and microphones, these would cost $6,000. And we were able to get these for $1,500. I think you guys have the copy of the memo or the emails. These are the only place that had these available. So as far as looking, it's the only one that had them, and they were able to sell them to us for that price of $1,500 for the 5 of them. So I make that in the form of a motion to approve that purchase.
I'll second it.
Okay. Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And then, let's see here. I've got, on April the 12th, the Red Cross Heroes Dinner is held at the Ambassador Hotel on Peach Street. I would like to approve the purchase of tickets to attend that. There's a dinner and banquet. $650, and this would include for 5 fire chiefs of the Mill Creek Fire Companies and the 3 supervisors to attend that Red Cross Heroes Dinner at the cost of $650.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to attend.
Right, but we can get somebody to go there. We might be able to get there late, so.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, I make that in the form of a motion to approve the purchase of those tickets.
And
for
John, just if I could for just 1 second, if people
Yes.
were wondering why we're sending our fire chiefs and the supervisors, sometimes the supervisors go, sometimes they don't. The Red Cross does a great deal of work, and if Matt Exley was still here, we would attest to that, for the township. If there's a storm, a big storm of some sort where there might be power outages, all we have to do is make a call to the Red Cross, and they are setting up warming shelters at our fire departments, and they do tremendous work for the residents of the township on just a moment's notice. So this is sort of our way of saying thank you to the Red Cross for all they do.
Yeah, it's the least we can do, I think.
Yes.
You know,
So if you're looking for a second, I'll second that.
so. Okay, and, okay, I have a second on that there.
Gentlemen, could I
Yes, please.
make a comment on that? As you noted, we have a conflict that evening. You also mentioned Matt Exley does an excellent job working with our fire departments, representing us in public. Maybe we should consider only purchasing 6 tickets and letting Matt represent us rather than buying 3 additional tickets that we may not be able to use.
Okay, I can tell you that the purchase price on those were an arrangement for us to get the whole table at that price. It's 8 of them, 8 seats. It was a reduced price on that there. I wasn't really supposed to say too much about it, but it's out there, okay? But they're giving us the table for 8 for that price there. So the prices had gone up considerably from last year to attend this. And so I called and I asked, I said, what can you do to help us out? And so they lowered the price down. So we get a table of 8 for $650.
And in fairness to the Red Cross, I think that this was because their treasury has been depleted significantly
yes.
by the number of fires that they've
Right, yeah.
had to set up shelters for this year.
I appreciate what you're saying, and maybe we can,
Sure.
or we'll send Matt, of course, you know, the 5 fire chiefs and
MPS.
some MPS people or something.
Yeah, if we
So,
can't make it, we should
We can, yeah,
fill them in, I think.
right.
All right.
Yeah, we get something.
We have a meeting, our township meeting that night,
Right, okay.
so it'd be tough to make.
Okay, so I have a motion. Cheryl, am I correct? I made the motion, and Brian second? Yes. Okay. Brian, how do you vote?
Yes.
John?
I vote yes.
Okay, and I vote yes. Okay, and then I have one more here, and this just came, I don't know why we get these things last minute. Erie County Association of Township Officials Annual Firemen's Conference Dinner. It is next Tuesday night, March 29th at St. Francis Ushers Club. And let's see here, we are looking at sending 5 fire chiefs and 3 township officials let's see, it's 8 for a total cost of $240 or $30 apiece for this evening of food. And like I said, this came in last minute. It's not on the agenda, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of those tickets.
And John, just one quick comment on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, many times we don't fill that.
Right,
Not all the fire chiefs are able to make it.
right.
Could we maybe check with the fire chiefs before we commit to 8, and then maybe, I mean, if it's only gonna be 3 or 4?
Yeah, we'll do a straw poll out there and see
Okay.
who's gonna go and then write the check accordingly, but a maximum of 8 people.
Okay.
Okay, I'll clarify that, there'll be a maximum of 8 people attending,
Again,
representing
this
Mill
was
Creek
kind of a
Town.
last-minute thing. We
Yeah,
should have had
we should have had this a long time ago, and it just came in, so.
Well, I'll make a motion
To approve?
to approve up to
Up to 8,
8.
to send 8 people there, okay?
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. McGrath, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Morgan?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. And I'm done. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a request here from our streetlight administrator. Folks may not be aware, but streetlights in Mill Creek Township are installed on a request basis. If enough residents put a request in to the township to install streetlights, we'll contact Penelec, who will give us a cost estimate for the installation and also a cost estimate for what the annual costs of those lights will be. We provide that information in the form of a petition for residents to circulate. If 75% of the residents in that service area sign the petition and agree they would like streetlights, the township will work with PennDOT to have those lights installed, and then the annual fees for those streetlights are then passed on to the residents as a streetlight assessment. We had a request along Filer Drive from McKee Road to Colonial Avenue. This request came in last year. The process takes a little while between getting the cost estimates from Penelec and also for the residents to circulate their petitions. We did get a petition in. The request is from March 15th, 2016 to install 8 100-watt high-pressure sodium vapor lights on existing wooden poles along Fiedler Drive from McCain Road to Colonial Avenue. We did receive one comment from another member of the staff asking, well, why don't we put in LEDs instead of the high-pressure sodium vapor lights? So I did ask our streetlight administrator to contact Penelec to look into what the cost differential would be. And actually, we could save probably 30% of annual electricity costs with LEDs. However, there would be some upfront costs for installation. Gail is going to look into that and see how we can maybe include that into a monthly pay structure. So I would move that we actually table this until we do a little more research and how we might be able to effectively put in LEDs. So I move to table the item.
I'll second your motion, John. And in talking with Gail Jarris today about this, I was amazed at the amount of savings that would be
Absolutely.
had by going to the LEDs. It was tremendous.
Right.
So the payback is a very short period.
However,
Right.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
One other item that in her research, Gail did come across information that actually our existing streetlight contracts with Penelec, they're generally 10-year contracts. Existing contracts that have the high-pressure sodium, when those contracts are up, Penelec will upgrade to LEDs at no cost. So I
I
do
think
believe we
that's
should.
what, 10 years was it?
Yes.
10 years. Okay.
So I have asked Gail to do some research on that, figure out which of our contracts are coming up soon, so we can look into upgrading to LEDs.
if I could just add something, and I may be off base, but I am an electrician. At least I used to do that over 30 years ago, but the LED lights, I think, are more directional. I don't think they give you the disbursement over a larger area.
Yes.
And I think so, there may be a requirement to have more lights if we're gonna illuminate an area. I think the LEDs require more light poles in there. So I don't know, I'm not an engineer on that, but
Well, yeah,
Oh,
that's what
absolutely.
everything
You know,
I hear
and,
too. They're more concentrated.
they're more concentrated. I know I just put LED lights on my pole out front. I have just a wooden pole made up of 6x6, and I routed wires up through it and everything. I just put new lights on there, LEDs, and they are more directional than the old incandescents that were on it. But they're bright, but they're just more directional. You're shooting straight down on it. So,
We definitely
Just
should
my own
look into that as well.
Right,
So like I
so-
said, that's why I'm asking if we can table this
Sure.
till our next meeting and have
think it's a
all
good
all
idea.
the information before
Yeah.
us.
Okay, so we have a motion to table, second.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
Vote yes?
Mr. Morgan, Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, that will be tabled until our next meeting. Okay, anything else there, Mr. Morgan?
Yes, I have a request from our administrative staff. Janice Reichert, our current payroll manager, is a certified notary. She needs to be recertified this year and has asked permission to move forward with that training, and has requested reimbursement for that process. I'm not opposed to that, but in speaking with Mark, there may be more cost-effective items. So while it is on the agenda, I would also move to table this item to give Mark and his staff an opportunity to research some more cost-effective ways to recertify that notary, and also to formalize the process so that I believe we have 3 or 4 individuals in the township that are notaries, and it probably makes sense to formalize that so we have consistency across the board. So I move to table that until Mark can give us a proposal, hopefully at the next meeting.
Okay, do I hear a second on
I'll
that?
second that.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. McGrath?
Yes.
And I vote yes, too.
I do have one more item to bring up, gentlemen. An HR-related issue. Per the Sunshine Law, there are certain issues that elected boards may take on an executive session. So I just want to report out to the public that we did have an executive session regarding a personnel issue, and that was on Tuesday, Monday the 21st at 3:50. That's where that meeting occurred, and then formal action was taken. And again, it was executive session under the Sunshine Act.
Okay. Thank you. Caitlin, do you have anything?
I don't. Thank
Anything
you.
you want to report? You learning a lot in all this? Okay, good. Well, we're glad you're here. Okay. Cheryl, do you have anything? Rick? Nothing? Okay. Citizens to be heard.
You want to do this first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me, before you, I'm sorry, Gary. We have the building construction report. I apologize there. For the month of February, it's not, it's kind of a slow time this year. We have, let's see, one apartment building at $1.5 million in the residential end of it. So we have $1.638 million of construction value in the residential end, and in the commercial end, $715,000 of construction value, for a total between residential and commercial, $2.354 million of construction value. I garnered $9,350 in zoning permit fees for that. So if you want a copy of this, they're available online later this week. They're also available, a paper copy is available in the zoning department starting tomorrow. Okay, now citizens to be heard.
Gary Mayer, 4045 Pine Drive.
Yes, sir.
I want to follow up on what you were talking about, the sodium versus the LED light. Much of the ado was made about when Sheets came into town about light pollution and all this stuff. The concern was all over the place about how that was going to affect the neighborhood. Now, I'm on Filer Drive. I signed that petition, go from McKee to Colonial. However, it was on the sodium light. And I would really, really like to know what is the dispersion of that light, because they were going to put one right across the street from my house, which would affect some resident in my house negatively. And now if we're going to put more lights across there and they want to stick one there, I'm going to renege and say will not sign that petition. I will not be taken off that petition.
I think just the opposite is the case.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
So I want to exercise caution there
Sure.
and say,
Right. Yep.
do you have an example of where it's in place already so I can go up and see it?
Yeah.
And then before you go off.
I'm not sure. We can look into
we
that.
can get
and-
some for you. We can get some locations.
I appreciate that because it's a concern. Thank
Well,
you.
and also, I just want to point out, when we were looking at it, by the calculation, it would be a 30% reduction in your annual assessment. So that was the one, that's why I was pushing it. But if the neighborhoods really don't want it, I mean,
Well, I
it's
understand
your bill at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's other issues other than cost reduction. There's
Sure.
a quality of life issue.
Sure.
And for 40-some years, we've gone along without lights there, and it's been fine, except for some new neighbors. And I
Sure.
can understand that, but I'm saying, well, that's good for all the neighbors, but I don't know if it's good for me.
Okay.
Rick, don't all new traffic signal intersections have LEDs?
Yes,
So 12th and Asbury, would that have LEDs?
I believe so.
Because, Brian, you
Just
spoke
about all of
the
them.
one up there, the signs, the LED signs on Petrie
Oh,
Department.
yeah, but that's an
Glare.
extreme. Yeah, that's an extreme.
Glare, and that's what
Yeah.
I don't want.
No.
Well, also, I think downtown Erie has LED
Right.
streetlights on State Street.
State Street.
Do they? Okay.
And
But it's, like John was saying, it's a more concentrated light, it doesn't spread out as much. It's a brighter white light,
I
but
understand.
it doesn't, it's more
Well,
concentrated.
I like to
Yeah,
see it.
it's really designed to be focused right down at the ground level. It doesn't disperse around the neighborhood, so it might
But
be
you said,
more.
John was saying that we might need more lights.
You may need more.
You may
possibly,
need more
yeah.
poles.
So that in
and
general,
lights.
the light level might go
illumination.
up substantially, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Right.
Well, like I said, we're looking into that, make sure we have all those answers before we take any formal action on that.
I appreciate that.
No
Let me
problem.
know, because I just.
Absolutely.
Right. We'll notify if there's a change in
Right.
how many
Yeah,
lights, we'll notify all those people that sign that.
Yeah, all the books on petition, we wouldn't change that. I mean, folks sign that with a certain expectation. We have no intention of changing that without notifying folks and giving them an opportunity to speak about it.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
problem.
thank you, Gary. Anyone else? Citizens will be heard. Being none, we'll adjourn the meeting. I call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
7:51.
I'll second.
Okay, we're out of here. Thank you.
You're watching the Mill Creek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.